Welcome back to Boys and Ghouls Film Review, folks. I'm your host, Sarah Stephenson, and this is my co-host, Mike Stephenson.
Hi, guys.
And once again, Merry Christmas to all and all to
this will be our last one before Christmas, isn't it, Sarah?
Is that right?
Yeah. Santa's coming to town.
Yeah,
kiddies.
so after this one, we'll go on a Christmas break.
Yeah, in a few weeks. We'll come back early January sometime.
Yeah,
second week of January or around there?
Well, somewhere about February, yeah.
Oh, February, earlier than that. I like. How about
February.
No, you're going to be busy. You see, that's
I'm
right.
busy in
January. You're going to be
January.
busy through January, I forgot. So,
and if you must know, Mike, we always go on a long break during January and
yeah, that's
December.
right. No, Sarah's going to be very busy through January. I just forgot. So we might not be able to slide in earlier. So, yeah, probably the first week of February, maybe?
Yes.
Okay. Right, what are we doing tonight, Sarah? He asked knowingly.
Well, we're going to be reviewing, this is an oldie, and the Disney movie, I might remind you guys. And you guys know how I strict myself with Disney movies. So I've gone back a few centuries with this one.
Centuries?
Well, not for centuries,
a
few decades. And I've decided to go for Babes in Toyland, that was done in 1961.
Yeah, well, we're doing the kiddie theme spirit of Christmas at the moment. Yeah, well, it is Christmas. Come on, guys. Don't go groan. I heard you out there, some of you.
And not to mention, Babes in Toyland does have a spirit of something or other in it.
It's got a spirit of, love and joy and happiness and all that good groovy things. All the nice things we seem to have lost over the decades.
Yeah, anyway, Mike.
And this movie, a little bit like the movie we did the other day, Santa Claus, is really aimed for families with young children. And I say young children, preteens. Anyone say 10 downwards, because it's really aimed at the kids. But it's a well-done movie. It is a musical, singing, dancing. Santa Claus didn't have any singing and dancing except for one bit for the elves doing something or other. That sort of thing. So this is really a really, really nice family, up close and personal, sitting there with the kids, having a snuggle, Christmas Eve sort of stuff, saying Santa's coming tonight, kiddies, you better be good. Yeah, and you put them to bed and they're dreaming about presents and everything. Yeah, and there's a few skeptics out there who say, I don't believe in Santa Claus, I'm going to tell the kids about that, yada, yada, yada. Well, I'm sorry, but there's a lot of people who do, okay?
Thanks very much.
You can't tell them all the grown-up stuff when they're kiddies.
No.
Okay, so let them have the fancy side of Christmas a little bit longer.
Yeah, I mean, at least give them something to dream about.
Now, before we go on, I'm going to point out something here. This is Babes in Toyland, 1961. There was an earlier version of Laurel and Hardy called Babes in Toyland had two names. The March of the Wooden Soldiers, that was done in 1939. There's been several movies made, even animated ones, being called Babes in Toyland. I think Drew Barrymore was in one of them.
Yeah,
now,
there was.
This is not that movie. This is in 1961 with Annette Funicello, Ray Bolger, Tommy Sands, Ed Wynn, and a few other people.
Yeah, despite the fact was this a bombed one?
No, I think it broke even at the box office.
Okay, it broke even.
It's a kids' movie. Adults are not going to go by themselves to watch a movie like this. It's a kiddie movie, come family movie.
Yeah.
So, but probably since it was actually made, the home market via back in those days VHS and then onto DVD and going on to Blu-ray, it is still selling. Okay, so they probably the domestic market has probably made a lot more money for them.
Yeah, and I gotta admit, I do like the special effects in this one.
Yeah, basic as they were.
Like most of it's all studio sets, but
the toys really don't come to life.
But the other stuff that deals with the toys coming to life seems very eye-catching, really cool.
It's all stop motion stuff like they used to do years ago.
Yeah.
Pre-computer generated, pre-CGI. So, but it's a fun movie. It's done well. It's typical of Disney. It's entertaining, aimed at families. So,
as I've said in the past, guys, Disney does not do things by halvesies.
Yeah, he did. I'd say to a certain degree, I wouldn't say he went overboard, but he didn't. He pulled out all stops to make a really, really good splashy. Fantasy, really, over the top, so it's inspired children's imagination, has that?
Okay. Anyway, who directs?
Well, I'll do all that stuff now. Okay.
Screenwrites and
Produced by
all that
Walt
stuff.
Disney. Gee, that's a big giveaway, isn't it?
Big giveaway.
Okay. Directed by Jack Donahue. This is actually based on a book called Babes in Toyland by Victor Herbert and Glenn McDonough. The screenplay was by Lowell Hawley, Ward Kimball, and Joe Rinaldi. They must be on the old Disney payroll. Now, getting into the actors, this is what I like the most in this, because there's lots of good actors in it.
No doubt. And that most of them had made a good role in their careers in the process.
To me, when I was a young man, see, I'm almost 69 now, 79, no, don't age me too much. Yeah, almost 79. When I was a kid, I was watching Disneyland and the Mickey Mouse Club and stuff when TV first came to Australia. And I fell in love with Annette Funicello.
No.
She made a great musketeer. Now, she is the main female lead in this. And she was 19 years old when this film was released. And she was a attractive girl. She could sing, she could dance, she had good stage presence or screen presence.
Yeah.
And she went on to the surf movies with Frankie Avalon and stuff. But she was, she wasn't an over-the-top actress. She just who she was.
And I liked Tommy Sands.
Yeah.
Me and my sister, we were really crazy for him because he was hot and he had that beautiful black hair. I mean, me and my sister really loved guys with dark hair and just had a beautiful look about them.
Yeah, I'll run through some of the people. There's quite a few here. We don't want to know who Little Boy Blue is and whatever, but here we're going to go. Ray Bolger, he was a dancer back in those days. He played the lead antagonist, the naughty guy. Yeah. Like a snidely whiplash type.
There's always that.
Mentioned Tommy Sands and Annette. Ed Wynn plays a Toymaker, absent-minded, befuddled man, role, and he always plays that sort of role very well. He's a very good actor. Tommy Kirk plays Grumio, the Toymaker's assistant. He was in Disney's stable for quite a few years and did quite a few movies with him.
Oh, yes, he had.
Kevin Corcoran played Little Boy Blue.
Both him and
his brother.
Both of those characters, guys. They both starred in several of Disney's films, as contracted together.
So I think Kevin was in the Shaggy Dog or something like that.
Yeah. He's actually his nickname Moochie.
Moochie back in those days. But anyway, Kevin's brother Brian was also in it. Skipping down a bit, I'll only do.
Why did his brother look familiar?
They were similar. Yeah,
they looked alike.
They did. They had the same haircut too.
I know, but their eyes had the same look.
They had the same faces.
Too.
I mean, three other people, and I'll leave it. Now, Henry Calvin played a guy called Gonzorgo, and Gene Sheldon played his offsider Roderigo.
He's funny.
Now, some of you older people who might remember the Zorro TV series that Disney put out. We had Zorro's what do you call him?
Mute.
Manservant. It was played by Gene Sheldon, and Henry Calvin played the fat sergeant. I can't remember his name. Gonzalez or something rather.
Yeah, I like the mute servant. He's rather funny.
Yeah, he's rather good, and he's a very funny man, and he's a bit like a Harpo Markstop. Doesn't say a word. And he's very funny in his antics. I won't go through anybody else here.
No.
But, yeah, it had a lot of good people who brought this production to life. And, again, it is aimed at the single-digit viewing audience, 0 to 10 or 0 to 9. It's a good family, Christmassy type movie.
What, the fetus likes it?
A fetus would probably like it if we can see that little peephole in the belly button. Maybe.
Fetus, well, you said 0 to
0,
10.
okay. Well, fetus, if you make a window where the belly button is, they can pop the eye up to it and have a look. But anyway, I won't go for anybody. Oh, sorry, Mary McCarthy plays Mother Goose. She's a sweet lady, but I like her puppet, the goose, more, but he doesn't get a mention.
I gotta admit, the puppeteering work was pretty good. I mean, I like the eye movement on the puppet. It looks so different from other puppeteers back in those days.
Yeah.
But, I guess, as I said before, Disney is all about keeping it tight.
Disney always did family movies back in those days. They'd get a good they get a good book.
Yeah.
They get Treasure Island, Kidnapped, whatever. Say, I like the story. I can make a good family movie out of this. So same thing here. So yeah, if you like Disney movies, it's one. Yeah, again, target market a little bit younger. However, still good as a family unit. So yeah, deal with it. I mean, if you can get a copy of it, sit down with the kids, watch it. You might have a good time, relive your past. Well, actually, sorry, sit down with your grandkids and relive your past. I'm gonna.
Fingers crossed.
No, they come. My grandkids are coming for Christmas, and I'm going to see if I can sit down there and watch this with them, and maybe Santa Claus and other movies of its ilk. Maybe a couple of religious cartoons thrown there as well.
Fingers crossed.
The spirit of Christmas will be upon them. Okay.
Anyway,
do you want to take over now?
Yes, I will. So the story begins with it opens on a stage, and Goose introduces the story. He says this is going to be about two lovely people who are getting married or getting engaged. Named
and who are they?
Mary and Tom. A
Oh.
lovely couple, no doubt, and quite good looking.
Well, yeah. Tommy Sanders wasn't a bad looking guy, and Annette Funicello.
Yeah.
Honey bunny.
Yeah. Anyway, then there's a bad thing that's going to happen next, where Barnaby, the evil baddie guy, the mustache twirling type baddie guy, wearing all black all the time, living in a condemned looking house.
The Addams family would just loved it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and he doesn't pay his bills for probably for the last century.
He's a greedy landlord type guy who screws everybody down and takes their money. How's that going down?
And he wants to marry Mary so he could get her fortune.
Yeah, she has an endowment or a money allotment coming her way when she gets married. Mm-hmm. And he wants to marry her to get his evil clutches on her money. And
yeah.
Good
so
plot, hey?
he gets his henchman, what's his name?
Gonzalez and Rodrigo. Whatever.
Gonzalez
whatever
Rodrigo.
his name is. Buggerlugs. Fredo and Fredo. Gonzorgo and Rodrigo.
Gonzalo and Rodrigo.
Heckle and Jekyll.
And he tells them to kidnap Tom and throw him in the sea.
Yes.
And then Mary's other bit of way of supporting herself is the sheep from the Bo Peep.
Had some sheep as mining, and guess what? As the nursery rhyme goes, little Bo Peep lost her sheep. Bugger, hey.
And in this case, Barnaby gets the henchman to steal the sheep so that that should be forced to marry Barnaby.
Because she would be broke.
Yes. So
bugger, hey.
The henchmen pursue with their plans, and they do eventually kidnap Tom while Tom and Mary are saying their siesta.
They're getting ready to get married next day or something. Yeah.
Seance to each other. I mean, it's not seance. I mean, serenading each other. Sorry.
They're singing to each other. I would have been kissing myself. But anyway.
But we don't see them once kiss in this TV
They were
series,
trying to,
this
but the
movie.
kiddies interrupted, and somebody else interrupted, and
yeah, something like that.
things like that. Now,
And anyway,
if the movie's made now, on the other hand,
they'll
be in bed, sort of. No. Oh,
this
okay,
is fairy tales.
Oh, okay.
So they say their goodbyes, and as Tom departs, he's Rodrigo hits him over the head with a mallet.
Very one.
And they then put him in a sack, and they attempt to go down to the sea.
No,
but
going to drown him. However,
they then decide to get to they go to a fork in the road where it says the
knife
ocean.
in the road?
Yeah,
Okay,
one
a
says
knife
the
fork?
ocean, while the other one says the gypsy camp. And then they decide to make extra money. They decide to sell Tom to the gypsies.
because they buy children. He's a bit old for a child. I'm going to say that's really
Kids,
stretching
whatever.
the imagination a tad.
It's
yes.
stretching the imagination a tad, yes. Anyway, so they pursue to the gypsy camp and thinking they'll trick old Barnaby. To the gypsies. We won't be. forget it, and we won't be happy to again.
Anyway, so the idea
Again.
is that they're going to get paid by Barnaby
Yes,
for
and
getting rid of Tom, throwing him in the sea, and they thought, well, gets paid by Gypsies by selling him to them.
anyway,
They get paid
we
twice.
then cut to in the
It's
morning,
recycling.
and Mary's just making the preparations for her wedding, and then Roderigo and whatever his name is, arrive, and they tell Mary the big bad news. Barnaby's there, of course, to try to milk the opportunity as best he could to pretend to be sympathetic for Mary.
What a nice man. Not.
And when, of course, the guys say, guess what, Tom happened to be at sea because he couldn't afford Mary as a wife, so he decides to seek his fortune elsewhere.
Hey, that was on The Princess Bride, wasn't it?
Yes, unfortunately,
Oh, farm boy. Yeah, that one, yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, we should do that.
well, we will.
Have we done it?
I don't think we have.
Do that. Yeah, he went away to seek his fortune.
Anyway, so they walk off, and then Barnaby tries to press Mary to marry him and live in his estate, even though it's
a fall down house. Yeah.
Yeah, and she says that while she may not marry just for money, she would marry for love and all that stuff. Unfortunately,
Money's good though.
And
Yeah.
she says, as long as we can live off my sheep, stuff like that. But then we
She finds out the sheep run away.
yeah, the Bo Peep arrives, tells her the big bad news, and at first they say, guess what, we'll just come home naturally, but then we get...
Waggling the tails behind them, perchance.
But then another kid arrives telling them, guess what, we found out the sheep had headed into the forest, to the forest of no return, which means that they're doomed, and Mary is doomed.
But we'll go and find them and we'll bring them home. Isn't that lovely?
Not going to happen. Soon enough, Mary is backed up against the wall at this point because she cannot...
that sounds good.
She has bills to pay. There's no way to support herself and her siblings. I'm not sure they're her siblings,
I don't
honestly.
get it. See, she's a little bit like the old woman that lived in the shoe and all the kids and stuff. And she's a bit like she's got all these kids running around. Yeah, and you go,
I don't think
they can't be hers.
I don't think they're her kids. I think
She's
they're
only 19.
I think that they're like her younger brothers and sisters.
Well, I don't know. You see, you got
my only guess.
Boy Blue, Little Boy Blue. You got Bo Peep. You got Willy Winkies in there, and there's two little twin girls in there. It's like the Brady Bunch, isn't it? There's all these kids running away.
Anyway, it's not. Doesn't matter. Not anyway. Mary
family services out there,
decides
won't they?
to finally marry Barnaby because she feels like she can't do any. She can't figure out the way to make ends meet.
So she says, I'll have to marry Barnaby.
But the kids are not going to have it, so they decide to go into the forest and find the sheep on their own. Meanwhile, while this is happening, the town has made an announcement about Mary and Barnaby's upcoming wedding.
Yay!
And then Barnaby has another announcement. He's got some gypsies to come along to entertain them at the best
Funny
floor
that, isn't it?
to celebrate
Gypsies
the wedding.
That you know who got sold to.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
The gypsies arrive, they do dance routines, stuff like that.
Very nice.
And among the gypsies is an old woman dressed... that's none other than Tom in disguise.
Yes, he has a bit of stuff on his nose and crappy skin and a wig, and he looked like a crappy old lady.
And smells like salami.
Salami.
Anyway, she then reads Mary's palm and tells her that her beloved Tom is alive and well, and Barnaby is also given a severe palm reading with a few twists of his arm and breaking his wrist off. And then we get the great reveal. Tom is alive and he's right in front of everyone.
And he takes his clothes off. I mean, he takes his outer garments off to reveal Tom is actually the old lady.
And then everyone greets him, says hi, hello, all that stuff.
And it's great to see you.
Oh, what a lovely.
And then Barnaby confronts his henchman and says, going somewhere?
No.
Like he's giving him the look that parents would give them, saying,
You're being very naughty.
"You're a very, very naughty henchman." Anyway, the Tom and Mary head back to her place, and they find a note there pinned to the door from the kids saying that they've gone into the woods to find the sheep. Uh-oh.
So Tom and Mary go looking for the kitties
Yeah,
to bring them home. Oh, I'll help them find the sheep and bring them home.
Yeah, meanwhile, Barnaby and his henchmen, they follow Pussyfoot.
Okay, forget that, okay?
Anyway...
It's a visual thing.
Anyway, the kids, as they're going deeper and deeper into the forest, they can meet with some creepy trees.
Who are alive. There must have been half a dozen trees. A little bit like Lord of the Rings. You know, the Ents? You know, a bit like that, but a bit shorter.
They then start singing and saying you cannot leave because you've been...
to no return. Nice tune, you know.
Yeah. Soon enough, Tom and Mary arrive and the kids tell them that these trees captured them, yada yada, and of course kids, parents, they don't believe them all the time.
Trees, right, okay.
So while they can't really head back to home because it's dark and there's no...
Let's have a sleep here. We'll go in the morning.
Yeah. And so they nod off, and as they're nodding off, Barnaby and his henchmen are about to stir them, but fortunately the trees stirred them first. And tell them to wake up, and all that stuff.
Warning, danger, Will Robinson.
Yeah. Anyway, the trees tell them that they're going to take them to the authority figure, the Toymaker in Toyland.
You know, if this was done by Dario or Zento, the Toymaker would be an evil guy, like a witch.
Yeah, that would be funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hello, kitties. You know.
Anyway, so the trees guide them through the forest, and they soon arrive in Toyland. And the kids are very ecstatic because, hey, you're a kid.
In Toyland?
In
Crying out loud.
Toyland.
What a great place
to be. A chance to see toys and stuff like that. What kid would not dream of an area like that?
Oh, I would love it if I was a kid.
Yeah, me too.
Crappy toys. I mean, there's no Nintendos or anything.
Yeah, well. Anyway.
No laptops or iPads.
So Tom and Mary and the kids, they head off down to Toyland, while Barnaby and his henchmen, they make a point of waiting till dark to spring on them eventually.
Spring has sprung.
Anyway, soon they arrive, and the kids try rat-tat-tat on the door, but it's closed for renovation or closed for alteration, whatever they call it. And they soon hear a few noises coming from one of the buildings, which is Grumio, the assistant to the Toymaker, who has a machine that kind of revolutionizes toy making, if you will.
Yes.
Of course, the first two tests were good, but then the Toymaker
takes over and he puts in overdrive and breaks the machine.
Yeah, boom.
Then again.
Yeah.
Easy come, easy go.
Then, let me see. Tom and Mary and the kids suggest they help Mr. Toymaker to
so he can meet the Christmas deadline. Now, so I told you he works for Santa Claus, didn't I?
See?
Right. Yeah.
Well, it does explain a lot.
He's a bit big for an elf, though.
True. Well, the elves probably help pack the stuff into the sled. That usually helps.
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
Anyway, the kids pull on a really good time of getting the toys organized and ready in time, and luckily enough they hopefully will get the deadline done soon.
And they work really hard, and they start to catch up on the work. And Mr. Toymaker says, "Yeah, I think we're going to make our Christmas deadline."
Yeah, soon enough it's getting dark, so the kids turn in. They tried to turn in because they're
still excited working there.
Yeah.
It's like a kid going to a lolly shop.
Yeah.
It'd be really hard to say, I won't eat any lollies, I'm going to have a sleep. Nah, not in your life.
Yeah. They even try to sneak away with some of the toys, I guess.
Yeah, one of them you're supposed to be making them, not taking them.
Yeah. Anyway, so they turn in, and Mary and Tom are the only ones left inside the toy shop at night, and we have a nice romantic moment.
A nice little tune.
But then Grumio appears and tells them about his new invention, and he's going to show that invention to the Toymaker. Yeah. And this one is a shrinking ray, I think.
Yeah, it is a shrinking ray, yeah.
Which allows making things
You
into
can get
small
a
things.
big table and make it into a toy table.
Yeah.
And you can get a
big chair to a little chair.
Yeah. And you can hide the rubbish.
Yeah, that's another thing about...
Shrink your garbage tin.
Yeah,
You know?
that's the thing about the shrinking ray. Do it twice.
Everything it disappears altogether.
Disappears altogether.
So you get all the rubbish. You go spray. It goes shrinks down and spray it again. He's gone. Easy clean.
Of course, Tom makes a good point in this scene. He says, "Where are you going to get the big things to reduce to small things?"
And then Mr. Toymaker goes, and then he turns to Gruno and says, "Where are you going to get those from?" And then he berates him and says, "You're an idiot. Get out of my life.
Go to your room."
And disappear. Yeah.
Yeah, Grumio heads off, feeling downcast.
Dejected as well.
Dejected as per usual again.
Dejected, and inspected and
yeah,
whatever.
Tom and Mary follow out, probably
Poor Grumio.
to tell him that it's not his own fault. Then
He got a better job somewhere else.
Then the Toymaker throws the ray gun out the window,
And guess who
where
catches it?
Barnaby catches it.
Yeah, okay, use this.
Yeah, and he then tests it out on the Toymaker, and the Toymaker doesn't notice what was happening to him
He thinks having a dream, but he becomes a little Toymaker.
Yeah.
About 6 inches tall.
Yeah, and as he's getting to bed, his bed is now shrunk down to foot size.
And he's the right size now to get back into his bed.
Yeah, as he's heading inside, Barnaby's standing over him like a creepy, sinister bat.
Yeah,
And he then grabs the Toymaker by the his pajama top.
The back of his nightie. He's wearing a nightie. You know,
The old day 90s that men wore back in those days.
I used to wear one.
And he puts them in
Very
a
nice, very
bird
comfy.
cage, and he plans on plan on getting shrinking Tom and
Maybe puffing him.
blackmailing Mary with this very
shrinking once and threatened to puff him. The second puff, gone.
Yeah, of course his henchmen are not having this. They say, we plan on
Yeah,
exposing you.
the henchman weren't as nasty as he was. He thought, well, maybe we'll do the right thing.
But they chose the bad time to tell him flat out that
So what
they're going to
happens? He
expose
shrinks
you.
his 2 henchmen. I don't need you guys anymore.
No,
Hey, when he shrunk, does that put him on half pay?
Good point.
Ah.
Anyway, he soon comes to Mary's room and tells her that he plans on taking her for his wife, but he frets her by the fact that he's got Tom who's no more than a few inches tall.
Like Mr. Toymaker, about 6 inches tall. Yeah.
And he says that if she doesn't marry him, he won't only shrink Tom, he was going to puff him, obviously.
A second time, he won't exist anymore.
Of course, Mary backs down.
Mr. Barnaby.
Yeah, she decides to go with Barnaby's plan. Soon enough, Toymaker begins to do the wedding ceremony.
Very slowly. He's given Tom a chance to get something happening behind the scenes.
Yeah, I like it when he says to keep her in sickness and health and all
and
sorts of-
anything else,
and
and
then Barnaby says, "What are you doing?" He says, "Oh, I'm just
trying to cover everything."
I'm just trying to talk your way out of it."
Yeah.
I love the jokes in this part.
Ed Wynn was very funny. Actually, his brother's Keenan Wynn. He was the older brother, and Keenan Wynn used to, I think, quite a few years different.
Yeah.
And Keenan Wynn was in quite a few movies and TV shows himself. Actually, he was in Keenan Wynn. He was, in Herbie.
Yeah.
Love Bug. He was the mean guy with the moustache.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, trying to knock down Lady's house.
Ah, cool.
Yeah, that was his brother.
Wow.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Tom goes and gets the toys that they manufactured, the soldiers,
Awesome.
the stuff like that, to lead them against Barnaby. Of course, it goes well at the beginning. A few attacks here, a few attacks there, but unfortunately, Barnaby continues laughing that this is just nothing compared to real bullets and stuff like that. Anyway, soon enough, he tries to get the upper hand by using one of the toys to aim at Tom's soldiers and the other guys, other toys, and eventually he trips over the marbles.
They put marbles all over the floor, and he slipped over on the marbles.
He then thinks,
dangerous kiddies,
yeah.
pick your marbles up here.
Yeah, he gets tired of this game, so he decides to use the poof gun on Tom at last. Eventually, Mary takes up the
little
toy
hand cannon.
and uses it to break the vial on the puff gun.
And it went puffo all over Mr. Barnaby and shrank him down to, you got it, a 6 inches tall evil guy. Yeah.
Soon enough, Tom and Barnaby, they're in sword-to-sword fighting.
Yeah, a little bit like Errol Flynn and whatever. Yeah.
It goes well a little bit here and there. Barnaby tries to cheat along the way.
Oh, yeah. The nasty guys always cheat to try and win.
Yeah, but luckily, Tom gets the upper hand and has Barnaby thrown into a box. I don't think he's dead.
Just boxed.
Just boxed. Anyway,
don't open till Christmas.
Soon enough, Grumio appears with his sort of
a new
prevention
a restoring ray to make everything grow back to the way it was.
Yeah, he soon sees the Toymaker on the ground, and he was able to resize him again.
Make it big again.
And the same he did with the henchman and Tom eventually, and everyone's happy. And then the kids arrive and they ask, "What have you been doing? You've been playing with our toys and stuff."
And
they said, and Tom says, and then Tom says, "That's right, we've been playing with the toys."
And everyone goes, ha ha ha.
And then we cut to the wedding day, which is a white wedding, which I love.
I'll say this: that she looked lovely in that gown.
I agree. She looked beautiful.
And he looked lovely in white. He was a virgin too, probably. Now, what? What? They're both in white.
I don't mind. Men can wear white on wedding days too. It's not illegal.
Virgin or white back in those days. Yeah.
Anyway, they then get into this beautiful sled, and then they do what the Grease do by
the Grease where Sandy and Bugger Lugs took off from the car and looked like it was going up into the sky.
Yeah.
Same bit in this. I wonder where they took that idea for Grease.
I think
from Babes
Some
in Toyland.
people out there would be using their stupid mind gimmicks about why they did this scene, but I don't care at this point.
There you go. That was a good move where the car took off from the sky. Really.
Yes. Why do you need an explanation for why this happens, guys? I don't know why. Some people need the explanations of why this happens.
Hey, see, explanations. Okay. I said to Sarah before we did the podcast, there was no backstory on the trees.
See?
What do we actually need one? Not particularly.
However,
it is funny. How did the Toymaker make them? Were they enchanted? Who knows?
And whether or not where did Mary have all these kids? Were they hers, or were they her brother and sisters, or their cousins? I don't know.
Did she know the Pied Piper and he had to leave a couple of kids somewhere? No?
Or maybe she just adopted them or fostered them.
Fostered, but
I don't know. That's
who knows? Yeah,
that's the thing.
We just don't know these things.
Yeah.
We'll never know.
It's not really important at this point because it's an old 1960s movie.
It was a
There's
good
no
fun. See,
reason to
a
explain
lot of people back in those days, 50s, 60s, even maybe in the 40s, they liked musicals.
I agree.
A bit like some people like fantasy movies nowadays. Well, the musicals are a bit like fantasy, like these ones. Like Brigadoon was a really good movie. That was Gene Kelly and Van Johnson and some other people in it. They were really good, fun fantasy type musicals.
Yeah. Anyway, I do think this is
a
good movie. When I watched it last night, it may not have pulled my strings as they used to, but this was good when I was a younger kid in the old days.
Yeah, and like I said, it's aiming for single digits. Okay, not 0. Okay, 1 to 9 bracket. But it's a good family movie. Yeah, Mum and Dad can sit down there and watch with the kiddies, or and go put the kettle on and get some biscuits and stuff. Read a newspaper while the kids are playing on the floor.
Yeah,
but it's not mind numbing. It's not bad. An adult can sit through it with the kids, without groaning too much. Okay, so really, as a good Christmassy type kid type film, this is up there with the best of them. Now you look at but the new movies today, but the new movies today aren't as fun. You got to watch Jingle All the Way with Schwarzenegger. What else? The Santa Claus of Tim Allen. I don't know if any new ones have been put out, but
Well, there's going to be. I think there's been reported that Tim Allen's going to be doing a TV series of the Santa Claus movies.
But,
I don't know.
But they're a different sort of storyline. They're just just a comedy storyline. But these are musicals. It's dance routines. So slightly different. And I think we probably the last thing I heard while I saw the pictures of theatre was probably the Phantom of the Opera had music in it. And now you get these biodramas, Freddie Mercury, Rocket Man from Elton John. You're doing the one there of Weird Al Yankovic we saw recently. There's a couple other ones coming out. I think Neil Young's Harvest, and they're doing that, but they're not quite the same thing. Oh, it's a biodoc. Or it's a mockumentary, or it's something else. It's not a good fun, let's take you away on a magic carpet ride to a weird place. You know?
Interesting thing, guys. There was a lot of actors who were up for the role of Barnaby. You know, a lot of the, like even Dean Jones.
Dean Jones. That wasn't the guy in Herbie?
Yes.
Yeah.
A lot of,
good guy.
And I imagine a lot of other regulars from Disney movies, you know, or either offered or auditioned for the role. Obviously.
Oh, probably. But he had to be a dancer, though, because he had a dance routine, so it would have limited it somewhat.
Oh, and George C. Scott also decided to do it too. I don't know if he is ever...
George might have been a dancer,
and Paul Newman, Jason... what's that? I don't know his name. Chuck Connors.
Chuck Connors, yeah, he was the rifleman, I think. Yeah.
And another... Let me see... There's a very long list, guys. This is this is only a handful of people. Even Donald Sutherland was off, you know, audition for this role, and Christopher Plummer, and Boris Karloff.
Oh, that would have been creepy.
Whoa, that would have been creepy. I think I would be scary if Boris Karloff did take on this role.
Especially came out dressed as Frankenstein or something. That'd be real.
I remember what he looked like both in the old movies and when he did Raven years later.
He did the Ravens. There's two Ravens. One with one was the Raven, which was the one with Jack Nicholson in it. There's another one there where the guy who played a surgeon who did some facial plastic surgery.
Yeah, and I'm not
Boris
sure.
Karloff.
I'm not sure what age Don Sutherland would.
He would have been a young man because
he would have been very young.
He would have been maybe a bit too young.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Going to say because I don't know. I can't remember when MASH was made.
Me neither.
The original movie that would have been about 70-ish. That's another 10 years later. So he would have been rather young for this role. So
yeah. Same with George C. Scott. I don't know what age range.
No, George is older. He would have been in the right age bracket probably. Yeah.
I know how I've seen him in a lot of movies for many years. Not for many years. Considering he's George C. Scott, who's in some movies.
He's an interesting actor. He was in Patton. He was in that one of the.
I don't know, Land of the Giants. I mean, if they were giants or whatever.
They were giants. That was the Sherlock Holmes one. And there was he's in that. The Exorcist, one of those.
And he was in one of the Titanic movies that was on television.
He played the telemovie, was it?
Yeah, telemovie.
He played the Captain Smith. So he played a lot of good, interesting roles. He's a good actor.
Yes.
Yeah, a lot. Yeah, it's another one. I wouldn't say going under the radar, but under. Oh, I got a mental block today. I'm sorry. It must be a festive season now.
Yeah, it's the same.
Underappreciated. That's the word I was looking for. Yeah. So anyway, I'm not going to talk too much about special effects because they're minimal and that sort of stuff. So typical of a good Disney movie, even though it didn't make a bucket load of box office, and I would say, saying what I said about Santa Claus, it's a limited market movie, but it's still available today, which means people are still buying it and renting it. So
exactly
on a domestic market, Santa Claus and this movie are probably still doing well and making money. So even so, they've actually paid for themselves and probably made a lot of money over the years. So it wasn't actually a flop. This one sort of broke even, I think. I I think the budget was about $3 million and box office about 4.6.
Ooh, interesting thing,
Yeah.
guys. This some of the toy soldiers also made an appearance in Walt Disney's Mary Poppins, which was done in 1964. About
About 3
3
later.
years after
Yeah.
this movie.
Recycle a bit. Why not? You see,
Well, that's what-
recycling's good.
Well, recycling allows it to give you product placement and give
Well,
you
that's
a
product
feeling of,
placement.
oh, I know this project, this prop, I seen it in the other movie.
Yeah, but the point
It'll
is,
give me a
it's
reason to watch it.
It's not product placement. It's just a case of reusing stuff.
Okay.
In some movies, they actually reuse the same sets.
That's true.
Especially in old westerns. One movie has Dodge City, another one has Tombstone. Gee, they look the same.
Oh, yeah.
Same set. So, it's,
Yeah.
they do that to save money.
Yeah, anyway, I kind of enjoy, even though I did love the fact that most of the sets in this were very down to earth and easy to, well, or just set built. But I did like when they did the toys come to life scene. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, yes, it's still framed, but it worked. I mean, you got to look at it. They didn't have the CGI stuff we had today. Even back in those days, when they did a couple of years later, they did Star Wars. They daisy chained Commodore Amiga, Amiga 1000s or something or other back in those days. Daisy chained them to try to do the basic CGI stuff they did back in the original movies they made of Star Wars. And they didn't have the capability. That's why so many years later they redid the movies and added some scenes in which they couldn't do before.
True.
So, it's little things, yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, so you got to understand, most of what you saw was manual stuff, not sort of computer stuff. So yeah, you got to be limited in your assessment there. You can't say, well.
Oh, this is an interesting
doesn't
thing,
rate.
guys.
Yeah.
The voice of Sylvester J. Goose, which is the goose I mentioned earlier, is actually the voice of the film director himself. See, he took part in it, even off screen.
Well, there you go.
And I guess no one else could do it.
Does that Jack made a goose of himself?
Probably according to the media.
Okay.
Oh, by the way, speaking of media, what did the media reception was like?
Oh, they didn't like it.
Oh, that'd be right.
I thought it was too cheesy, too whatever. Aimed at zero.
That'd be right.
Young kiddies and stuff, and it's not a family movie. Teens won't like it. Adults won't like it. Blah blah.
Good.
And
Great.
I'm sorry, but
It's not supposed to be a teen-related movie.
Teens would like it. Look, I could say right back in the early days of filmmaking, they didn't have classifications whether it was an adults only or PG. It was unclassified, and you go to the theatre and see a horror movie. Or a comedy, or whatever, and people say, "Oh, it's a scary movie or it's a funny movie," and that's it. They didn't have any ratings. Who's it going to be suitable for? If you want to see, have some chills.
This will
themselves,
technically be
go see a horror
going.
movie,
This
yeah.
technically will probably be a G-related movie.
It would general exhibition movie, yeah, exactly right, and it's meant for young children with their mummy and daddy, and that's what the target market was.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly right.
Those people have no clue about
I
this
know,
whole
it's-
teens. I don't think would be
Teens
interested
don't like anything.
unless they find something eye-catching about the movie and they go watch it any cases. Like there was even one scene where you see a girl underpants in the scene, which I won't go into details about.
Yeah, right. Just think so.
Good.
Yeah, okay. No, I can't think of anything else here to go
Yeah, I can't really go. I don't have anything else to lead to tell. Oh, this is interesting. Let me see. This Christmas film grows out of the Abandonment Rainbow Road to Oz project, which was planned and previewed on the Magic World of Disney. The 4th anniversary show that was done in 1957. In the unmade film, so-and-so was to have played Princess Osman, or Oz, whatever. Then when the studio scrapped the project, this was what took its place.
Oh, okay.
Disney never made an actual Oz film until Return to Oz, which was done in 1985, years
well,
later.
there you go then.
Meaning they were scrapped for
Maybe
projects.
they want to do it. Maybe the storyline of the movie was too thin. They couldn't get it happening right, so
they
canned it.
So this was landed at Christmas time. So this is technically a Christmas movie, technically.
Well, exactly. That's what it's done for. Yeah.
So I'm right. I knew I was in the right.
Christmas
place.
musical film, and that's what it's all about, folks. Yeah. Let's get rid of the slashes for Christmas. Do we have to see a slasher at Christmas? Of course we do.
Yeah, like
But
the
not in this
the upcoming Grinch movie that you guys have been wanting to see, and that other one. What's it called?
What's that?
Let me see. What's it called? I don't know. I know it's called something. Never mind.
Never mind.
Oh yeah,
That's a great name for a movie.
Never mind. It's I mean, I haven't even seen it yet, and there's no point in reviewing that one as yet.
No, not yet.
And unless they
it's like this new Indiana Jones one coming out. Then we will review that probably in a few months' time. However, a bit early. Has it been released yet?
No, it won't be released until next year, technically.
Well, okay, more than a couple months.
I
maybe
am
6 months
amazed that we
time.
had to wait this long for it. I mean, considering
He'll be dead by the time it starts.
True.
Poor old Harrison, he's getting
But
old.
as long as they've completed the project, they've got some of the scenes out of the way.
As long as it's in post-production.
And now it's in the post-production studio, then that's fine.
I don't want to be like playing Knife from Outer Space, having the same footage, having walk around with a cape around his face going,
technically, Dad, they did do, when they were doing the last Star Wars movie with Carrie Fisher, they had to probably even recycle some bits to make sure that she still remains in the third movie in that stuff.
Yeah. Poor Carrie. Well, it's also been Harrison. But
I know, but I'm just saying, Mike, that they had to do a bit of taping and flexing with their story here and there.
Yeah, that's better. The other lady took over with that other general or whatever, blonde-haired lady.
Yeah.
She started to take over a bit more.
I'm only glad that they were able to somehow use some of those remaining scenes and were able to use it for the final Star Wars movie.
Lovely.
Even though we still don't know if that's the final Star Wars movie to this day.
Well,
we've had
Carl Ren might come back.
What?
The Darth Vader.
Oh yeah.
Solo's little boy.
For some reason I don't even understand why that happened. To be honest,
What?
Why, if he disappeared and joined the Force, why didn't we see him at the end?
Because I say that he didn't join the other guys, even though he was supposedly
He redeemed himself.
but he didn't say. You think, is he coming back?
Because if Darth Vader redeemed himself and was able to help Luke in the end of in Return to Jedi, why is Kylo Ren not given that privilege too? I ask you that. It's weird. Anyway, this is not about that. This is about this movie.
Anyway, now getting back onto grading.
Grading time, guys.
Now, again, I try to be fair for all gradings. If I'm doing a genre or a type of movie, I try to make the gradings applicable to that genre.
Right.
And now, as far as a good family movie, Disney film, whatever, it's got to be at the top there. Okay? So, some people are going to say, why am I going to grade high? Because Disney always produced. They made it good. Even though it's fantasy type stuff and maybe a little bit overdone, it still made it fun and believable. Okay, even though it was a bit cheesy in some ways, they covered, I think, what they wanted to make the movie, and that they've actually delivered, and it made a very enjoyable film. The acting was good, the songs were good. Storyline passable, it's set for kids, and too complicated. I'm going to give it a 9.5. I'm
going to give it a 9 out of 10 myself.
Yeah,
not 9.5 as usual.
9.5. Because, I mean, and if some people don't like it, I don't like every movie in the world.
Same.
But I happen to think this is great family entertainment, and I think we've lost that over the years.
Yeah.
It's a bit of time to sit back there and reinvent the wheel, families, and say, let's share some time together instead of going, I'll go to my room and watch something on my computer. No, We have to do something together. One TV. Remember the olden days? One telly, no computers. Everyone watched the same program, or you went and read a book.
Or in this case,
Yeah.
I would like it in a cinema to be
Yeah.
actually having something new and something that doesn't require using the same old things I've been seeing so much
And
lately.
there's a lot of old good movies out there. I mean, I'd like to do some really old movies. I mean, there was one, what do you call it? The Thief of Baghdad with Sabu in it.
Ooh, yeah,
now,
that
that's
one
a
was
good movie. People say, oh, yeah, it's an old... Yeah, it's an old movie. And it was fun. It was enjoyable. Nice adventure. Family-orientated. See, for the word family, guys, are you listening?
Yeah, the family underline.
Yeah, we're losing too much, and it's getting...
Yeah, I wasn't like, I didn't like the Sausage Party, thank you much.
The Sausage Party, the what?
That's a super Disney movie that's probably been...
Sausage Party, never heard of it.
It was probably box office bomb too.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Considering the fact I didn't like its hidden meanings.
Ah, okay.
It's too.
Now, if I was thinking of a
right.
Sausage Party, wouldn't have anything to do with any kiddies.
No. it's too much. Not really right for inappropriate.
Yeah. Okay, let's kill that part and move on. Okay, availability. Yes, it's available on Amazon and eBay. Yeah. Now, what I said earlier on, excuse me, there are several movies called Babes in Toyland. This is the one, 1961. If you're looking for it, it has Ray Bolger in it. It has Tommy Sands in it. It has Annette Funicello and Ed Wynn. It does not have cartoons in it.
And it doesn't have Drew Barrymore in it.
No, they're the older ones. And it doesn't have Laurel and Hardy. That's the early one. That was 1934.
So if you see go on Amazon and you come across a picture of
Annette Funicello on the front.
Yeah.
That's the right one.
And it says...
It's got names of the actors off the side.
And if it doesn't have the names of the actors, but it gives you the
Have a
wrong
look.
date, be careful how you go about
61.
it.
And be careful, there will be VHS tapes out there.
Because there are some people out there who put the wrong year on a movie and then give you something that's not what you expected.
And we don't want people... I've seen on Amazon, I got the wrong movie, it's a rort. It's not a rort, you ordered the wrong bloody movie, you know?
Yeah, could be a mistake. Sometimes these people even put the wrong dates in or the wrong poster.
Dates, or you buy the wrong thing. I don't want people buying the wrong thing and wasting hard-earned money, but just be careful, okay? Anyway, I'm going to kill now. I'm having trouble talking, but dry throat here.
So that's about it for us tonight, guys. Be sure to watch. Let us know what you think of it.
Let the kiddies watch. Come on. If you are any old guys, older people there who might have young nieces and nephews or something or other, or older people who might have some grandkids hanging around, right age bracket, why don't you just sit down there and revisit the child within you and try to enjoy it? You might be surprised.
Yeah. Anyway, so we'll see you guys not next not in January but in February, obviously. So be sure to see us then with our latest reviews. If we can't reach that deadline because we're working on a film project.
Sarah is working on a film project during January, so
if we can't have time to review, we'll keep you updated on when we're going to do our first review.
What we could do is possibly...
No promises, Mike. Keep it.
I was going to say we could probably work something out. We might get one or two in the can before the film starts and just diarise them.
Yeah,
maybe.
Most likely.
Yeah.
We haven't decided
yet,
guys.
We'll work something out, maybe.
Anyway,
but, we know we've got a lot of happy listeners out there. Yeah.
Anyway, guys, have a good Christmas.
Yeah, guys.
And,
hope Santa brings you a lump of coal. I mean, a Prezi. I'll get a lump of coal, probably.
Most likely.
Whatever.
Anyway, so see you guys next time on Boys and Ghouls. This is Sarah Stephenson signing off for this year. Bye for now.
Merry Christmas, everybody.